Hi guys. Alright, I'm sitting in my car. I'm gonna read to you. Alright, here we go. I wanted to read on the beach, but boy, was it loud. The wind and the trees. Okay. This is number 12, and it says, the first meeting. About an hour after my mother left for work, Austin knocked on my door. He was carrying the multimeter and his notebook. He noticed the can of whipped cream on the counter. Dude, did you have crepes? Yes. Is there any left? In the fridge, you can microwave them. He heated up the remaining crepes, then piled them high with powdered sugar and whipped cream while I played a video game. That was a cool party last night, he said. I nodded, intent on my game. Yeah, it was over. It was. Especially when you knocked Corey over. I didn't say anything. Taylor's really a babe. You know she likes you. She likes everyone. I don't mean it like that. I mean she likes you. I read this book on body language and I watched her body. Yeah, I bet you were. No, for scientific purposes. I bet, I said. When he'd finished eating the last of the crepes, he came over to the table. Okay, let's see if there's been a change in your electrical status. I paused the game. After the cell phone incident, I was curious to find out myself. Let's do it. Wait, what's that? He said, pointing to my new watch. I held up my arm. It's a watch my mom gave me this morning for my birthday. What's it made of? I think silver. He said. Silver has high conductivity, even more than copper. That's why they use it in satellites and computer keyboards. Austin always vomited up everything he knew about a subject. So? Well, you should probably take it off. It might throw off the readings. All right. I unclasped it and laid it across the kitchen counter. Then I clipped the multimeter cables to the ends of my fingers. Austin looked down at the machine. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. And then I surged. Electricity sparked from the copper ends. Whoa! Austin cried. He sat down the machine and began scribbling in his notebook. I unhooked the clips. What was I? Dude, you're not going to believe it. What? This thing goes to 1,000 volts and it's saying error. You're definitely becoming more electric. I sat down on the kitchen bar stool and put my watch back on. I wondered what that meant. More electric? Do you think it will stop? I don't know. No wonder Taylor's cell phone didn't work. He set down his notebook. So, is Taylor really coming over for cake and ice cream? She said she was. Then afterward, we can have our first official meeting of the Electro Clan. That's sick, Austin said. Real sick. Austin and I played video games most of the day, except when we took a break and walked to the 7-Eleven for Slurpees. Around 5 o'clock, Austin's dad came and got him for dinner. After he left, I made myself macaroni and cheese again, then lay on the couch and read from one of the books I've been assigned in my English class, Lord of the Flies. I read until Austin came back an hour later. We still had time for a few games of Halo before my mother got home. Mom got home at the usual... Sorry. It's okay. Mom got home at the usual time, a little after 6:30. I could tell from her eyes that it had been a hard day. Still, she smiled when she saw me. She was carrying a chocolate butter cake from the supermarket bakery. I got your favorite cake, she said as she walked in. Hi, Austin. Hi, Miss Vay. How was work? It was work, she replied. She set down the cake on the counter. She looked at the multimeter but didn't say anything about it. Did you boys get some dinner? She spotted the dishes in the sink and the pan still on the stove. Oh, you did. Mac and cheese. Sorry, I didn't do the dishes, I said. I got distracted with the game. That's okay. It's your birthday. While my mother was changing her clothes, the doorbell rang. Michael, would you get that? She shouted from her room. Got it, Mom. I paused the game and then opened the door. Taylor stood in the hallway holding a wrapped package. I immediately started blinking. Happy birthday, Taylor said. She held out the present. This is for you. Wow, thank you. I felt dumb that I hadn't got her anything. Come in. Thanks. Austin stared in awe, as if we'd just received an angelic visitation, which wasn't far from the truth. Hi, Tex, she said. I knew she was just kidding, but I don't think Austin did. He was a genius about everything but girls. Hey, Taylor, he said. He'd pretty much given up on correcting everyone, as he is fond of saying. I don't care what you call me, as long as it's not late to dinner. I think he meant it. My mother walked out of her room. She smiled when she saw Taylor. You must be Taylor, she said. Hello, Taylor said. She walked up and shook my mother's hand. It's so nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you, too. My mom glanced over at me, standing there, holding the wrapped package. Taylor brought me a present, I said. How thoughtful, Michael. Will you get the ice cream from the freezer? Sure. My mom led Taylor over to the table. I hoped she wouldn't interrogate her, but of course she did. So, Ridley's an interesting name. Is it Scottish? No, it means cleared woods in Old English, so I'm like a vacant lot. My mother laughed. Have you ever lived around here for a while? I've lived in the same house my whole life. Do you have any brothers or sisters? I have 2 older brothers. They go to college, so it's kind of like being an only child. Well, we're happy you could come tonight. Just go ahead and sit down and I'll get the cake. Thank you, Miss Fay. My mother walked back into the kitchen, where I was scooping ice cream into bowls. What a cute girl, she whispered to me. Well done. Come on, Mom, she's just a friend. My mom just smiled. She put 16 candles on the cake, 1 extra for good luck, lit them, and carried the cake to the table. The 3 of them sang happy birthday to me, and we sat around the table for the next hour and talked and laughed. Taylor and my mother really seemed to hit it off. I was surprised how talkative Taylor was. She even told us her favorite birthday story. When I was 5, my mom made this Beauty and the Beast cake with all these plastic trees, and they caught on fire. So we had a big forest fire in our kitchen table until my dad blew it out with the fire extinguisher. He's a little extreme that way. It put out the fire but ruined the cake, so my mom ended up putting candles on Twinkies. We all laughed except Austin, who no doubt would have done the exact same thing as Taylor's dad. When is your birthday, Taylor? My mom asked. Sunday. She turned to me. Michael? Why didn't you tell me? This should have been a joint party. It's just cake, I said. Taylor said, So, Michael, are you going to open my gift? Yes. I peeled the paper back and opened the box. Inside was a black hoodie with our school's name printed on the front. Do you like it? Taylor asked. I thought you could, wear it to the games. I held it up. That's awesome. Thanks. Cool, Austin said. My birthday's in October. My mom smiled. That's a very sweet gift. Taylor grinned happily. It's nothing. We sat around and talked until 9, when my mother started gathering up the dishes. I think I'm going to call it a night. Taylor, do you have a ride home? My dad's going to pick me up. Well, it was very nice meeting you. I hope I'll be seeing you again. She smiled. Thank you, Miss Fay. I'm glad you invited me. You're very welcome. Good night, Austin. Good night, Miss Fay. Thanks for the cake. My mom walked over to me and kissed my forehead. I love you. Happy birthday. Thanks, Mom. I love you too. She walked off to her bedroom. When she was gone, Taylor said, Your mom is really nice. She's a babe, Austin said. Dude, she's my mother. You've got to stop saying that. Sorry. Taylor laughed. Well, she is. I hope that I'm that hot when I'm a mom. I wished my mother had heard what Taylor said. Lately, she had been saying that she thought she looked old. Austin said, So let's get our meeting started. Who's going to call it to order? I looked at Taylor. I think you should be the president, she said to me. Why me? Because I said so. I second that, Austin said. Somehow her reasoning seemed a little ironic, but I wasn't about to fight her on it. Okay, I call the first meeting to the Electro Clan to order. I looked at Taylor. Now what? We need to follow up on our last meeting. Oh, we need minutes, Austin said. No more than 30, Taylor said. My dad's coming to pick me up. No, minutes is what they call the notes from last meeting, I said. Austin rolled his eyes. Sorry, she said.
How long is this?
It's not very long. Austin started. In our last meeting, Taylor shared her discovery of what you both were born with in the same hospital, that you were both born in the same hospital in Pasadena, California. A very unlikely coincidence. Then Austin pointed out that the fact that both of you have this mutant, Taylor looked at him and he stopped, power is a statistical improbability. And third, the hospital records of said hospital for the 11 days around your birth dates begin April 16th appear to have been conveniently expunged. Taylor looked at me. Does he always talk like this? Pretty much, I said. Expunged means erased. I only knew because Austin loved using that word. Okay, thanks, Austin. I have something very important to add to the record, Austin said. Go ahead, I said. I discovered something very disturbing. During those 11 days, there were 287 births at Pasadena County. What's so disturbing about that? Taylor said. Austin looked at her. May I continue? Sorry. 59 of those babies were born at Pasadena General Hospital where you two were born. As I look over the records, I came across something very, very particular. He paused just to make sure he had our attention. 42 of the children born during that time didn't live more than 2 days. What? Taylor and I almost in unison. I checked the same time period the month before, and there was only one baby that didn't live. 40 times the number of... I couldn't say it. That's so sad, Taylor said. Did you say what happened to them? Unknown causes, Austin scratched his head. But it gets stranger. Only 17 of the babies born at Pasadena General lived. And that includes you two. I leaned forward on my chair. You're saying that out of 59 births, only 17 babies survived? Sorry. Precisely. Austin knit his fingers together. It couldn't be a coincidence. A 4,200% increase in death in an 11-day period, and the records of those 11 days disappear. I'm guessing whatever caused those deaths has something to do with whatever destroyed the records. We need to find out what was different about those 11 days, Taylor said. My thinking exactly, Austin said. Just give me a few days to get to the bottom of it. Austin told Taylor about the most recent voltage test, and a few minutes later we adjourned our meeting. A little after 9:30, Taylor's dad called from the parking lot, and I walked her out. Her father was driving his police cruiser, which seemed to me kind of strange, as I always thought that police cars were for picking up bad guys, not your kid. I guess I'd never known anyone who had a police officer for a parent. Taylor's dad looked pretty tough. His window was down and his arm was hanging out of it. He smacked the side of the car as we approached. Dad, this is Michael, the birthday boy, he said. Why aren't you in your birthday suit? Taylor rolled her eyes. Dad, why do you try and embarrass every boy I'm with? He leaned back into the car. It's my job. Sorry about that, Taylor said. He loves to harass boys. When I'm old enough to date, he's going to be a nightmare. It's okay, I said. Thanks for coming over and for the gift. It was really cool. Thank you for inviting me, she smiled. Actually, I guess I should thank your mom. She's braver than I am, I said. Hey, we're going to have a real birthday party Monday after school. We're going downtown to an aquarium and then out for pizza. Want to come? Somehow, the invitation sounded dumb as it left my mouth. I'd love to. Really? I guess I was still getting used to the idea that she liked being with me. We're leaving around 4:30. She frowned. I'm sorry. That won't work. I have cheerleading until 5. We can wait, I said. Are you sure? We could even pick you up at school. That sounds good. You sure it's okay with your mom? She'll be thrilled. I can tell she likes you. Taylor smiled. Okay, I'll see you at school. She climbed into the patrol car. Thanks again. Have a happy birthday tomorrow, I said. Thank you. Good night. Good night, Mr. Ridley, I said. Night, Michael. The father drove off. The police car's siren chirped as its lights flashed for just a second. Taylor waved to me from the back window. Hands down, it was my best birthday ever.